Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I am your other co-host, Rakshak. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 31 of NFL Masala, where we pull up on our therapy chairs and talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a counselor and with a ton of spice. You know what this week was?
This week it was torture with the capital T, with the side dish of pain.
Uh-huh.
It was. It was. Yep.
It was horrible.
Yep.
We might as well
Alrighty.
rip up the Band-Aids. We might as well
Exactly.
rip up the Band-Aids. So, what do we got
Exactly.
in store today, man?
So today we have, after some Dhamakadar news, where we'll be talking about Black Monday, aka the coaching firing cycle, and then letting us see who is hired and who's still fired. After that, excuse me. After that, we are going to. Sorry, I'm still recovering from the flu, but we're gonna be talking about our wild card games.
And before we do
Um,
that, folks, if you folks watching this on YouTube, if we can get to 100 likes on YouTube, my co-host Anant will get better. So make sure you keep on liking and subscribing in. So please like this video, share this video, say get well Anant, and he'll get better at it. He needs your support.
yes, sir. I appreciate it. But yeah, so we're gonna be breaking down what happened in our wild card games, and then breaking down the other wild card games as well, just briefly, and then finally finishing off with the preview of the divisional round. So let's get started, shall we?
Yep, and I actually have an updated list thanks to our good friend, this Mr. Abhishek Ramani of the NFL Masala podcast. Also Cowboys fan, but also he is the Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Ari Meirov. Who needs the others when you got this guy? So shout out to Abhishek.
Yes, sir. All right,
So,
so let's get started with the updated list.
all right. First, with this, let me share my screen. Thankfully, which is why we are on Threads. So make sure you follow the NFL Masala podcast on Threads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here are our following head coaching openings, and recently we got news that the New York Giants have hired John Harbaugh for, I believe, I think the details, it's like a 5-year, $100 million contract. I'm pulling up the details from Shefty, and what do you make of this move?
I think this is the best option for them right now because they need a culture setter. Just like how the Lions got with Dan Campbell, just like how the Houston Texans got with D'Amico Ryans, they need a culture setter to, guide the ship in a right direction after several tumultuous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I think he's going to do a good job with bringing in the right offense for Jackson Dart for those young weapons, and he's going to get a good DC who's going to utilize the defensive talent and bring it to, you know, bring it up a notch.
Yep.
So I think it's overall the best move that they could make. The second best move they should do is they should fire Joe Shane, obviously. But it's also going to be very difficult to replace another GM. So I don't mind sticking him out for one more season if this draft goes as well as some of the other draft picks that he's made.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Overall, I
And
like the hire.
I think it's a definitely good move, and also what he did sensibly by getting Todd Monken in, that really helps because I think with the Giants they need someone who can not only like be effective like with helping with Jackson Dart, but also work well with the run game. And now with Cam Scatterbo hopefully coming back from injury and once they build around the run game, that offensive line is going to help protect better. Dart Dart can be used as a runner like how he's done with Lamar Jackson. Dart may not have the same physical talents like Lamar Jackson, but it's almost like you can show a variation of the same concept. So I think it's a very good move by the Giants. They pounced early and they need it. Now now there's like one super capable head coach in the NFC East. I mean, you have a guy who gave up a 28-3. You have a guy who is a son of a legend who could never get to the big one. You have a guy who is a fucking, pardon my French, a fucking loudmouth who acts as the CEO, head coach, promotes nepotism at best, but meaning like getting friends over, but somehow is able to win championships. And then you have a legend in John Harbaugh. I think future Hall of Famer right there.
So the deal, I just got some news from Underdog NFL via Jordan Schultz. John Harbaugh's deal with the Giants is expected to be for 5 years, around $100 million.
Right. I was thinking more like that same amount.
Mm-hmm.
But my only concern is for Harbaugh. He needs to have a say, especially when it comes to the draft. Because if I mean, yes, you want to go best player available, but remember, you're picking at number 2 because you don't want Fernando Mendoza. Like Jackson Dart's good, but now it's question like, what do you do with that second overall pick? Do you trade back for more or what? It's very tense.
Yeah.
It's very tempting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously they're not going to go quarterback. They already have one in Jackson Dart. They definitely need to beef up their offensive line, their offensive weaponry, and their back 7 on the defense. So I think they probably go like defense, and probably trade back.
I would not be surprised by that. And if I know if I wanted to add more rotation on that defensive tackle, I'm gonna be a homer.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. Guess who is that? When I looked at Take-a-thon, guess who was sitting in the middle round? David Wiley or David Billy, defensive tackle, defensive end from Texas Tech. He led the league. He led the season in college football with sacks, up to 15.
Wow.
15 sacks. Although he was playing in the Big 12, I thought but going up against that Oregon offense, like to see how David Willie was like knocking down passes, like saying like, dude, this is like the second coming of Jalen Carter right there. A very aggressive, works well in a rotation, and I'm also gonna be rooting for my guy personally, Jacob Rodriguez, the best overall linebacker, in my point of view. Won the Bednarik, the Lombardi. He should have been in the Heisman top 4 instead of fucking Diego Pavia. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. But I think this is gonna be but like these are like names I'm like throwing out, but then again, we have to look at what's the ending in Miami and Indiana. So a lot of good options for the Giants.
Alrighty, let's move on.
Yeah.
What are the other openings?
Some of the there are 2 main openings I'm very interested in. Number 1 would being the Dolphins after they fired Mike McDaniel. I know like the players, like some players had like their own personal. I think like the way he ended it, it's like, I hate to say this, but Tua kind of handicapped this team a little bit, and especially the extension and him getting injured all the time. It's like, okay, you're relying more on Devon Achane and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. What more can you do? And but the fact is, like, now with McDaniel gone, there's so many areas and so many options where he can go to. Where I know he got and then of course another one being the Browns. They fired Kevin Stefanski. Everyone's like all up in arms because he didn't start Shador Sanders or put him in a bad situation. I was like, no, because the organization is inept, is very inept. The Cleveland Browns is an organization where quarterbacks go to die. It's a quarterback graveyard for a reason. There's been no starter since like Johnny Manziel, ever since they let go of Baker Mayfield. They have not had a consecutive starter. Deshaun Watson, what the hell is he even doing there? Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders are just eating up space. It makes no sense whatsoever. Another one which was very surprising was the Steelers one. Mike Tomlin wanting to let go after that brutal exit. I mean, end of an era. And I feel old. I feel old about this, man, because I was there when I saw like Michael Tomlin like get hired as like from defensive coordinator all the way like since, and I mean he's done a hell of a job. No defeated seasons over 500, multiple playoff spots, AFC North, one-time Super Bowl champion, one-time Super Bowl runner-up to your Green Bay Packers, if you remember what that was. Hell of a career, man. And Mike Tomlin wants to come back to coaching. Good luck with them on that. But yeah, very, very intriguing. And I think like that's all I have. Now, these are like some of the spots that I have in moment. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's it. I did see that the Steelers are interviewing Packers DC Jeff Hafley for their head coaching position. Just to let y'all know, Jeff Hafley just murdered a child, so I don't think he'll be available to.
Wait, what?
No, I'm just saying that he won't be able to, interview for any other position except for the DC position for the Packers, which he already has. Doesn't need to interview for it. I think all the other teams need to be aware that this guy, he's a liar. He doesn't do anything that he says, and he's better off in the Packers organization.
I would like the same thing. Say the same thing too for the Cowboys. I know they requested Eagles defensive backs coach Christian Parker. I mean, Christian Parker has done absolutely nothing. It's all Fangio scheme. Christian Parker is just riding on the coattails of it. He is ass, and why do you even bother? You should have kept them with your boy Matt Eberflus, man. That dude was a legend at best. He made the games very interesting, and the fact that you let him go. And you're trying to come after us with this stuff, man? Like, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Alrighty. Let's move on.
We got to talk about it. Let's begin.
Let's talk about it. So, the unthinkable happened. The Packers lost to the Bears. It was disastrous. It was absolutely disastrous. We were up 21-3 at the end of the first half, 21-6. And for some reason, we became the first team since 1970 to lose 3 games where we're leading by more than 10 points in the final 5 minutes of the game, including the playoffs this season. And you might say, well, did Jordan Love 3 interceptions? No, he didn't. Did the defense do a terrible job? They kind of did. But what was the main culprit, or who was the main culprit for our loss? It's Matt LaFleur.
Whoa.
It is Matt LaFleur. It is a coaching disaster. This is not the first time that we have seen this sort of a collapse. This is not the second time that we've seen this sort of a collapse. This is, as I've mentioned before, this is the third time this season where we've lost leading by more than 10 points in the final 5 minutes of the game. At the end, with 6 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, the Packers scored a touchdown. Amazing touchdown by Matthew Golden to go up 27-16. That is a 9-point game. It should have been, actually, it's an 11-point game. What am I doing? My math is not mathing. It's 11-point game. 6 minutes and 36 seconds to go. All 3 timeouts. We miss an extra point, so it remains 11-point game. Do you win from this position, Dakshak?
I honestly think you should be able to win this game. You should be able to win this. I literally called you and said, bro, this game is over. And I was about to make a ridiculous jersey bet with you.
99.9% of the time, this game would have been over. But it is that 0.1% that the Packers excel in finding ways to lose, whether that is the 2014 Seahawks game, championship game, whether that's this game, whether that's 49ers, whether that's Bucks, whatever it may be, it is just in the Packers' DNA to choke and to lose in such a disastrous fashion. And I don't know what to do. Because there were 3 people who I would say without a shadow of a doubt are bright spots for the Packers' future. Jordan Love, Matthew Golden, Micah Parsons. There are 3 people who I think without a shadow of a doubt are going to be stars for the Packers in the future. Jordan Love already is a star right now. This loss was not on him.
Can I say something? I thought Jordan Love had a very good game, despite not having Tucker Kraft, despite not having like a very good offensive line to rely on, despite not having a consistent run game. I thought Jordan Love had himself a hell of a game. And also what really highlighted for me is that Matthew Golden has to be your number 1 option going forward. If he is not, then there's something wrong.
That is, again, Matt LaFleur. When you have Matthew Golden on the roster, why are you making space for Bo Melton, who's a converted receiver to corner? Bo Melton was injured, which is why Matthew Golden was raised above in the depth chart. What kind of organizational and coaching malpractice is this, where you have such an amazing star-studded talent just sitting on your bench, just running routes, not getting enough attention, who deserves attention? And the play, and this game, it was his breakout game. 4 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. And that touchdown was probably the most desperate touchdown I've ever seen a wide receiver have, because he knows that he's got it in him. If the coaching staff is smart enough to actually let him play, this entire offensive coaching staff needs to be fired, shot into the sun, burned up with the fucking nuclear bomb, send them over to prime Chernobyl, go back in time, send them over to Chernobyl when there was radioactive fallout. They don't deserve to be coaching anywhere else. Adam Stenovich, I don't know why he still has the job. Luke Butkus, who's our offensive O-line coach, I don't know why he still has a job. This offensive line this season was 21st in passing, pass blocking. and 24th in run blocking. Do you know what the lowest was in the past 15 years?
What?
7th before this season.
Oh my God.
That's how disastrous of a offensive line we had this year. And yes, I get injuries. Every offensive line has had injuries to deal with, and they haven't sucked as bad as we have. Despite that fact, Jordan Love threw for 4 touchdowns and 300 yards, no turnovers, and still lost the game because his defense couldn't do it. His defense couldn't hold on in the second half. And then his coaching staff just decided to not make any adjustments whatsoever to the run game. The Bears figured out that we like to run through the center. We like to run inside zone and
Oh
duo,
yeah.
right? Specifically from the shotgun. So what did they do? They stacked the box. Now, when you stack the box, what does it allow you to do? It allows you to create more open passing lanes behind the
Mhm.
linebackers, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, this is when you should run more play action
Mm-hmm.
and not run the football directly into the teeth of the fucking defense. What did we do, Rakshak?
I don't want to.
We ran 35 plays from the shotgun directly into the offensive line. The run plays that were called were directly into the inside portion of the offensive line, right into the front seven. There was no creativity in getting the ball out via passing, via play action. There was no creativity in terms of getting the ball outside the tackles during the run game. We had 15 plays under center on the first 3 drives where we scored 3 first half touchdowns. We had 15 plays under center, 12 plays in shotgun. In the second half, we had 5 plays under center, 35 plays in shotgun. Why? Why did we have to change up that combination? Which the Bears did, but since the Bears stacked the front, it makes even more sense to continue to play under center because those plays typically allow you to have 22 personnel, 23 personnel, or 13 personnel, basically multiple tight ends to cancel out the advantage that the defense has by stacking the box. So you're actually playing a numbers game by playing under center. You're trying to get the advantage back to your side. And we know from deep analysis that under center play action is one of the strongest forms of play action that we have in the modern game. And we've seen it work because we scored 3 touchdowns using that. So why did we go against what was working, away from what was working, and call plays that had lower chance of success?
I just don't get it, man.
I don't get it. I
don't
don't.
get it.
This is the detonation of an offense that I rarely have ever seen. Because we had this game.
You had it,
Had this game.
and you blew it.
We blew it 100%. Jordan Love, amongst other quarterbacks in the wild card, number 1 in touchdowns, number 1 in EPA per play, second in QBR, second in passer rating, second in passing yards. This wild card weekend, he was the best quarterback, and he lost. So, a Packers QB threw for 4 touchdowns and 0 turnovers and lost the game. A Patriots QB threw for 1 touchdown and an interception and won the game by multiple scores. The NFL is a flat circle. Because you know what this reminded me of?
What?
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
Oh my God.
This is exactly Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
I don't know what to tell you, man. And I have to admit, like Caleb Williams, on the other
He was
hand,
fine.
yeah, he was good, and like the fourth quarters when they say, like, oh, it's time to lock in cardiac Bears mode. That crazy fourth down play to Roma Dunze, I thought that was
unbelievable.
That was, I mean, off his back foot, I think, and he just like flung that bitch over there, and then I mean, that has to be my Masala play of the week.
Yeah, no, 100%. They didn't as well as Caleb Williams performed in the fourth quarter. I don't think this was a game that the Bears outplayed the Packers on. This was a game that the Packers shot themselves in the foot. You know, This loss is on three people.
Mm-hmm.
This loss is on Matt LaFleur. This loss is on Adam Stenavich, and this loss, definitely not the least, Brandon McManus. I want this guy strapped to. I want this guy strapped to a BrahMos missile and shot at Pakistan's nuclear facilities.
Oh my God!
Okay, this is the best way to get rid of this asshole. Fucker lost us 10 points. 10 points. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point.
Oh yeah.
So not 10 points.
No, you lost your
7 points.
Oh
yeah.
My God.
7 points. I want him on the next BrahMos missile delivery to Pakistan. Whenever that happens.
No. Brandon McManus, you're now signed to the Pyongyang Stars. Welcome to North Korea.
Yeah, there you go. That's also good.
Okay, I got to talk about my game.
Before you do,
yes.
just one last thing. So, the play where the Packers season went horribly wrong was a fourth down punt in the Broncos game in third quarter. Because I will share my screen. If I can share my screen, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So after this punt, 4th and 9 on Broncos punt, 23-14, we're up.
51 yards.
After this punt, we throw 1st and 10. Jordan Love throws a 1st and 10 interception. Christian Watson gets hurt. Then, a following plays later, we lose Micah Parsons. Then we blow the 2-score lead to the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Then the following week, we lose in embarrassing fashion to the Bears. Then the week after that, we get run over by Derrick Henry in one of his career games.
Yep.
And after that, we start Clayton Tune at quarterback. And then after that, we lose in embarrassing fashion to the Bears. Never have I ever seen a team lose after a devastating non-quarterback injury. We were 9-3-1 when Micah Parsons' ACL was torn. 5 straight losses after that.
Damn.
We had a shot at the number 1 seed, and then now we're out of the playoffs. We're done. Anyways, that's it for me.
I don't know where to begin, but it's like I said last week in the podcast that I had my brain was telling me that the Niners were going to win this game and the only way they would win is because of this incompetent human being. No, this incompetent imp. No, scratch that. An incompetent molecule by the name of Kevin fucking Patullo entered into our lives. And all I can say this for you to the great city of Philadelphia. The nightmare is finally over. We got him. Kevin Patullo is no longer the offensive coordinator. Thank God, because but like honestly, we deserve to lose that game. And I will say a couple things. I was disappointed with the way it ended, but I was not surprised. I was literally not surprised by this overall. And if you want to talk about, I mean, I was listening to like on my way to breakdancing class today. By the way, this is Thursday, January 15th that we were recording this. I mean, the offense was a fucking joke. Stop the bottom. First half, after the Packers drive in, what was this happening? Saquon Barkley open runs, Devontae Smith with some good, and Dallas Goedert. And I mean, it was like the formations were clicking. And then after we get 2 touchdowns, everything's fucking stagnant. Like, the first play of the game, I got this from Johnny Page of Eagles Pinball. The Eagles shipped A.J. Brown on a tight split, bringing a defensive back into the box, which of course makes the tackle on Saquon Barkley. Saquon misses the thing. And yes, even though Saquon Barkley had like 25 rushes, 25 carries for 100 plus rushes, the run game was bad. I mean, you were facing against a Niners defense that was missing Fred Warner, that was missing some of their starting corners. They barely had any linebackers. They had to hire Kazir White and Eric Kendricks from the practice squad and from the streets. Bryce Huff, who is a bitch, by the way, on defensive end and defensive tackle. And you're going up against almost like rookie to sophomore safeties like Malik Mustafa and someone else. Like, I mean, the Niners have been terrible against setting the edge, and apparently the Eagles could not attack this at all. I mean, and of course, the strangest part of the offense was that the red zone offense was great. I mean, Dallas Goedert, that switch for Dallas Goedert handoff for touchdown and the pass towards him for the touchdown too. I honestly thought, like, he's played himself out of contract. I don't think he signs back with the Eagles next year. I mean, how the hell? It's like, and I mean, the Niners cannot sit. And you know what they did in the second half? I was listening to this. They played, like, knowing how simple the Capitola playbook is. Sometimes when they decide to go zero blitz and play cover zero or quarters defense, meaning you're basically playing zone all the way. No one is free. And when you're seeing that and you're seeing a cover zero blitz, you know it's the best way to attack a cover zero blitz on them. You attack the middle of the field. You go crossers. You go slants. And when I see Jalen Hurts in an empty set, what's the best thing for him? QB drawn, run the hell away. He only had one run. Why was this not called a lot? And you're calling A.J. Brown like back and forth? I mean, and then another thing is like, there's one play in which like they're running 13 they're playing 13 personnel, play action deep shot, and you're targeting Dallas Goedert. What the hell was that? If you're going to do 13 personnel, you got to go A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But it makes no sense. And yeah, A.J. Brown had he had bad drops that game. Everyone in the offense like dropped the ball. Saquon on that one third down play. Devontae Smith on a couple of balls. I mean, some of them were hospital balls. And A.J. Brown, those deep passes, when you got to make that catch, man, you got to. No complaints about that. And I love A.J. Brown and him blowing up with Nick Sirianni at the sideline. And it's like, oh, we're in the good place. It's like, yeah, he's frustrated because of the play calling. Why are you not being creative? Yes, I know he's lost a step, but you got to be more creative on that. You can't just, and like when A.J. Brown starts catching the ball, he works well when he's in a rhythm. I don't care. Like on a deeper, but I mean, when you're going 13 personnel under center and run a play action on 2nd and 2, I love that play. But what the hell was the route running? Goddard wasn't there. A.J. Brown wasn't there. And just when we're and you know what? That when we're running empty draw, the 49ers had to do something by the way the Niners are doing this with Robert Saleh was run a blitz. The best way to do is go man beaters, rub concepts, and you have to have your hot routes. But no, what's the best thing? You go on a 4 verticals. What the fuck is this? Oh, it was so bad, especially that out route to Devontae Smith. I'm sorry. You could easily read that. And when the Niners were playing tight man coverage, like, you cannot blame Smitty on this one. It was just so bad. I mean, like, you had like a few, and Cam Jurgens, and like, of course, I have to nail this on the offensive line. Holy shit, they were banged up. Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, they were bad. I mean, like, he's not built to win static power snap after snap. When you're asking him to pull back, pull, climb, or work, he basically holds up. I mean, in the screen game, it was okay with Saquon, although it got blown up. I thought they would run that a little bit more, especially with, I like the running back wheel routes. I could have seen a little bit more on that. It's like, and of course, with Landon Dickerson, it's like the issue. I mean, like, Cam Jurgens is undersized. It's almost like they're trying to rebuild him as the next Jason Kelsey. I don't know if that's the way going forward, honestly. And I'm going to say this out loud. Don't get me wrong. I thought Brett Toth, who was the backup on that Week 18 game against the Commanders, I thought he played a hell of a job better because he's much more bigger. He's kind of used to it, and avoiding true like duo. Do you know the concept of running duo?
Yeah.
So can you explain to the fans what this is? Like, just a little bit, like in a nutshell.
Essentially, you have 2 blockers running in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so typically you have it in I formation, and duo will allow you to have 2 blocks on one back or in one gap, and you move forward through that gap.
Yeah. And apparently, like, the few times that the Eagles run duo, it actually worked out. The run game was strong. You saw Saquon have that one big monster run and for like 20, 25 plus yards. I think, and apparently that worked for Jurgens. But then again, it comes back to coaching. It's like, if you see a play work and the defense has no answer for it, what do? You continue and use it over and over and over again. Say, hey, try and beat us again. I know you can't stop it. Guess what they do? They go out of it. They go with the usual inside runs and going outside zone, 7 attempts for 13 yards. And play action. You abandoned the play action. You, like, when they ran play action, you had a positive EPA of 3.42. With no play action, they were negative 6.67. What is this? I mean, like, yes, you can, like, this is what I don't get about. This is why I did not like this Capitol offense at all. You get a lead in the first quarter, in the first half, and then you play coward football to not turn over the ball. Yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't turn over the ball, but you still lost because of asinine offense. And I mean, this is where, like, the issue against split safety coverage, the Eagles can somehow beat cover 0, cover 1, cover 2, and cover 3. But cover 4 or cover 0, they have no fucking answers. There's no flood concepts. I mean, there was no crossers. And I want to go back on 4th down. That final play, 3rd and 11, they miss it. You have a second left. You should have had the play earlier, and you should have snapped the ball earlier. But no, you had to burn a timeout, and then it took you less than 5 seconds to snap the ball. And what the fuck do you do when you see cover 4 and cover, when you're saying, oh, we know what they're going to do? They're going to run 4 straight at us. Robert Saleh said in his at the post game that we just played the same film in 2023. Did you hear that? And what's even more maddening is that they knew who they were going to target. It's insane. And the absence, and there was like no run game for Jalen Hurts. He did not run it at all. Yes, he had a couple of sneaks, but of course with the hold, That was bad. But then you abandon it. What the fuck are you doing, Patullo? And I mean, and this is, and I mean, and I honestly felt like they could have done a little bit more at Tank Bigsby again. It's criminal. And AJ Brown having a rough night, I get that. And there's no chance, and I'm going to say this out loud, there's no chance in hell the Eagles are going to trade away AJ Brown. He is a $43 million dead cap hit if he's traded. There's no chance in hell Howie Roseman's doing that. And he said it in an interview. And I would say, like, and honestly, going 4 verticals, no high-low, no Barkley involvement against when you're running against cover 4, it's stupid. It is obviously stupid. They ran the ball on 60% of early downs despite barely working. They scored 6 second-half points. And, of course, Jake Elliott missing a field goal and an extra point. I mean, I'm going to quote Matt Lombardo. Kickers, man, ... They finished with negative 3.2 pass EPA against a defense that was not good. It was one of the best talented offenses, and you fucked it up. It's no, I mean, yes, everyone had a role to play in that downfall. Hurts could have done a little bit better with like run games, been more comfortable. He should have audibled for slants, and AJ Brown should have caught those balls. Devontae Smith should have done. Goddard should have done blocking. Calcaterra should have done something. No penalties, but it all goes back to coaching. It goes back to Ken Patullo. Or even, I'll say this even better. I think this is also on Nick Sirianni's fault, because the fact that after Kellen Moore leaves, you should have done an extensive coaching search, but what you do instead, you decide to go and hire within. We have noticed in the past that it does not do shit. It doesn't work. After Shane Steichen left, you went with Brian Johnson. It was okay, but still bad. And then you went with Kellen Moore when you went outside the organization. We won a Super Bowl. We go inside with Kel fucking Patullo. It doesn't do work. And now he's been demoted from offensive coordinator, and they said he may have a role in the offense. No, he should be out the building. He should be out the building with a box of his stuff and Doritos, a bag of broken-ass Doritos. I'll say a little bit on the defense. I mean, of course, people say like Kyle Shanahan is weak against Vic Fangio. This was one of the games that Kyle Shanahan did well. Even with George Kittle going out, Brock Purdy, the fact that we're able to use like a lot of motion to confuse like the defensive schemes and playing against close quarters, and like shout out to the defense. They had a battle. They did not quit. They kept this game on the line. Because the offense does not do shit. And I think like going with motion and misdirection, and it worked, especially with that swan slant to Demarcus Robinson, gets a pass and he goes for a 61-yard run. I mean, I'm going to say this. He burned Quinyon Mitchell in the first half, and the second half, Quinyon got his 2 picks. And it's so funny because Quinyon Mitchell cannot catch a ball in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, he gets picks. Like, what the hell are we doing? And going up against Christian McCaffrey, who you know is your number one, I honestly thought you would bring in safety help with not just Jacoby Dean, but you also bring in Reed Blankenship. And knowing that Marcus Epps is okay, I would have rather liked to have seen Cooper DeJean be matched up in a safety position as well. And keeping him at corner, it kind of limits that role. We drafted him to be an Army knife instead of like just one singular person. So, I mean, it was one of those moments that Kyle Shanahan outcoached Vic Fangio, especially that flea flicker to Jawan Jennings who threw it all the way to CMC for that touchdown. I thought that was well designed. They tore apart the cover 3, attacking the middle of the field. But I mean, dropping an extra defender against the run really helped out. But soft spots. Split safety looks was there, but I think like this was but also it just shows like Jordan Davis being there really helped out. But when he was out and when he was banged up for a couple of plays, Niner just ran the ball through. And when Davis sets off against the run, Jalen Carter is able to eat. And I think like he's changed a lot this season. And against the run and the double teams, it was so much better. And I think like the pass rush wasn't great. I wish they could have blitzed a little bit more, but I think like Quinyon Mitchell, he got beaten early, but he responded with 2 picks. I'm really, I'm really excited to see what he does next. And like the jet motions, fake handoffs. Kyle Shanahan outcoached Vic Fangio on this one. He has this one victory for sure. But I mean, it didn't lose the season. It was not on the defense. They did all that they could. This was one of the, and even with all the losses that they had on safety and all that, I thought they did a pretty damn good job. And I salute Vic Fangio for coaching. And the defense put us in places to win this game. We didn't. The offense didn't deliver. And now that Kevin Patullo is gone, and they're going to look outside, I just hope for something because under Nick Sirianni, and I'll say this last, the Eagles, well, under Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, 2021 wild card loss, 2022 they go to the Super Bowl and they lose, 2023 wild card loss, 2024 Super Bowl victory, 2025 wild card loss. I don't know what holds up for 2026.
Is 2026 going to be another Super Bowl? Is that what you're saying?
If that
is that
happens,
what the pattern is saying?
if that happens, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to make of this team because they absolutely drive me nuts, and I fucking love it. So, with that being said, I am looking forward to breaking down offensive coordinators in the next couple of weeks with you.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Let's move on, shall we? And just a brief exposition on the other wildcard games that happened. I'll cover the NFC. Dakshak will cover the AFC. We'll just spend about 5 minutes talking about each game.
Let's do it.
So, before the Packers and the Eagles game, there was another NFC game that was actually so much better than the Packers and Eagles game, and it was the Rams versus the Panthers. Wow.
Oh my dude, that has to be
game.
You know what? Masala game of the week.
Yes, 100% definitely. The Panthers lost by 3 points, 34-31. It was Bryce Young's greatest game in his career. And the Rams, they squeak by with the victory after having a 17-7 lead in the second quarter. It was so close, honestly. It was tit for tat. The defense, both defenses just forgot to show up, except for a couple times when Bryce Young was sacked and had an interception. But besides that, he played as well as you could on the Panthers, shall we say.
Yeah.
Panthers definitely need to improve. They need a lot of defensive help. They still need some offensive help. Besides Ted McMillan, they did just have, so surprise, surprise now, Jalen Coker, 9 receptions, 134 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young just kept feeding Jalen Coker. We all knew that Ted McMillan is their number 1 receiver. But there is a fight for the number 2 receiver, and that is either between Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker. And it seems that Jalen Coker has won that debate. 12 targets, 9 receptions, 134 yards, and a touchdown versus Xavier Legette just had 4 targets and out of which he just converted one of those for a reception for 8 yards. So definitely it seems like Jalen Coker is going to be their wide receiver number 2 moving forward. But they still need some more talent, specifically on the offensive line. They just got some of their guards back, and it really showed in the run game. But when you look overall, I think it is definitely a sign of improvement. Panthers are not there yet, but they can definitely take this into the next season with a lot of optimism. The Rams, for some reason, I don't know what is with the Rams. They lose to the Panthers in the regular season. They lose to the Falcons in the regular season. They almost lose to the Panthers again in the playoffs. And now they have to face the Bears in LA. The Bears are going to be a much more difficult proposition to beat than the Panthers, but we'll see what happens to that game. Matthew Stafford still continues his MVP caliber season into the playoffs, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he did have an interception. It looked like there were some times in the third quarter where the Panthers were going to take the game away from the Rams, but Matthew Stafford clutched up when it mattered the most, and he delivered. So definitely an improvement for them. The run game was also kind of haphazard. Well, not haphazard, but split between two, Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, each having success in the running game. And obviously, Puka Nacua still remaining their top dog. 10 receptions on 18 targets, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 5 receptions on 13 targets for 72. So clearly, their number 1 and 2 is, Puka and Devontae. Devontae actually leads all receivers for the past 10 years in terms of total touchdowns scored, total receiving touchdowns, with 113 receiving touchdowns in the past 10 years. So definitely Hall of Fame worthy. But yeah, that's it for that game. The Rams beat the Panthers in a close victory. All righty, let's move on to the AFC.
All right, 3 AFC games. Cameron is a happy man because Buffalo Bills beat the Jaguars in a thriller of a game. I say it's a thriller because it went again at the last moment. Basically a back and forth contest. And I mean, the fourth quarter was when everyone says like, oh no, we are going to throw everything at the wall. And who wanted it more? And all I will say is this. Josh Allen, this guy does not know when to give up. He was out. He had several setbacks of injuries. But if you think about it, the final minutes, one of the clutch plays, a 9-play, 66-yard touchdown drive in the final minutes with a 1-yard touchdown run. Allen becomes the first players to have 2 or more rushing touchdowns, 250-plus passing yards, and an 80% or higher completion percentage in one game. And he had head and knee issues. He did not miss a single snap. And but I think like we knew entering into the game that the Jaguars' run defense was going to be like the biggest battle, and rightfully so. Josh Allen was limited to 33 yards. James Cook, I don't know how much, but the passing game is where that mattered. And with Tyler Shavers played during the game with a torn ACL, from what I've heard. Gabe Davis is out for an ACL, but I think like this is where I think like Keon Coleman better step the fuck up. He has to step up for the next game. And having Dalton Kincaid and James Cook in the passing game really helps out. So that was good. And Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks has emerged. Brandon Cooks, a name which I haven't heard in a long ass time. Well done. And also for the Jags, keep your head up, man. If you know what I'm referring to, that Jacksonville press conference. I'm all in for that lady giving that positive thing because we really need this in this fucking world. We really need that positivity. So Jags, keep your head up. You had a good season with Liam Cohen after that bad start. I'll say that. Chargers against the Patriots. Patriots win 16-3. Chargers chargered. Pat's top-ranked defense, they just dominated the Chargers to just a field goal and under 210 total yards of offense. I did not watch this game. Thankfully, no one else did. Defense had 6 sacks and a key goal line stop in the first quarter. And despite an early INT, Drake made through. He basically played game manager. Hunter Henry only had the only touchdown, and Justin Herbert got murdered from what I've heard. 6 sacks. Like, again, the offensive line, Mekhi Becton doesn't want to be there. He wants to come back to Philly where he won a ring. Free the man. And this is why they fired their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, rightfully so by Jim Harbaugh. If he wants to take it to the next step, he has to make a change in offensive coordinator. And I'm gonna say this: Mike McDaniel and a Jim Harbaugh type of team, I think that could turn a little bit of heads. But I'm just throwing ideas out there. But they need to find a way to keep Jesse Minter, that's for sure. And then Texans against the Steelers tonight on Days of Our Steelers. The Black and Gold Brigade and the Strouds, they just played mainly I think only their defenses played the entire game. CJ Stroud had multiple turnovers, a fumble, had 2 fumbles and a pick. And yet they were still leading 7-6. It took until the fourth quarter that the Texans defense said, like, enough of this shit. That Will Anderson Jr. sack on Aaron Rodgers, strip fumble, Sheldon Rankins for touchdown, and then a Caleb Bullock pick 6 and a Woody Marks run over touchdown. This was the first. Woody Marks drove the offensive park with over 100 rushing yards. A win marks the Texans' first ever road playoff victory. And you know what? Nico Collins was out with a concussion, and Christian Kirk stepped up, 100+ receiving yards and a touchdown. Xavier Hutchinson had some good spots, but I think it was mainly the run game of Woody Marks, and the Steelers could not do anything. The defense was gashed out. That high-end talent could not do it, and Mike Tomlin had to step down. And this could have been Aaron Rodgers' last snap, a pick 6. But I know for sure he's petty as hell. He's going to probably come back and play and say, oh, I got a touchdown, and then retire the next game. I would not be surprised if he pulls off some shit like that. There you have it.
All righty. Let's move on, shall we, to the
Divisional
round. All right, previewing the divisional round. You want to get started with the AFC, and I'll finish off with the NFC?
Yeah, I'll do the best I can on this one, my friend. So, with this being said, Bills versus the Broncos.
Oh,
this is a doozy.
Ooh, I'm rooting for the Bills.
I'm
rooting for the Bills.
I'll go for this really quickly, but it's going to be very interesting to see Josh Allen go up against the Bills. The Broncos' 5th-ranked pass defense. Pat Surtain, and I don't know who else is on the other side, but Buffalo, if they want to go beat the Broncos, they have to run the ball. The Broncos have a strong run defense, but Buffalo's undefeated. They're 8-0 when they don't commit a turnover. So maybe we see a lot more running sets with James Cook and Josh Allen. Because right now, here's my thing: with the Chiefs out, this is Buffalo's chance to get to an AFC Championship and actually fucking win one. I gotta do it for Haley Steinfeld, man. Gotta do it for you. Gotta do it for wifey. And
soon to be father as well.
Yeah,
child that's coming.
Oh man, it's gonna be fun. But I think, honestly, my biggest matchup, I think you have to have Keon Coleman ready for this game. And if not, I would see a lot more 2 tight end sets with Dalton Kincaid. That could be a game changer. And also the return of Brandon Cooks comes in handy. That's what they got to do. They have to keep on running the ball. They cannot turn over because the Broncos are turnover opportunists. Now, for the Broncos to win this game, they have to rely on the pass rush. They have generated an NFL high 68 sacks this season. They need to pressure Josh Allen. The Bills have lost 6 straight games when Allen is sacked at least 4 times. And also, Bo Nix. For the Bills to win this game, they have to pressure Bo Nix. And because with just RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, they could basically have to shut down the run. They have to shut down the run game and basically guard Cortland Sutton. Maybe you put Tre'Davious White and Sean McDermott. You have to put pressure on Bo Nix. He is and also Bo Nix can rush, but this is where Ed Oliver comes in. He will be able to come. He's potentially able to come for this game, and I think he can lay and having him along with Greg Russo and Joey Bosa, that rotation defensive edges will be very good. Apparently, Denver is a slight 1.5 favorite. However, I got the Bills winning this game. Josh Allen, I think this is where the experience will overcome Bo Nix, and Bo Nix will return to Mo Picks, honestly. Because if Mo Picks is holding the ball for over 3 seconds, the offensive performance declines big time. And then the Houston Texans versus the Patriots, the Strouds versus the Dark Empire. This is going to be if you I know there are a bunch of sickos here that love defense. If you wanted a sicko versus sicko battle, who is the biggest sicko of them all? This is the game for you.
Yeah. But
defense. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, it's going to be defense versus defense. Like Texans defense, which is basically the top ranked, against a young Patriots building offense. I mean, Houston's defense, they just need to contain Drake May. Because I think like with the way DeMeco Ryans has coached his team to use more aggressive man coverage heavy, they're going to try and take out Stephon Diggs away from this game. Maybe force him to go on Hunter Henry. And maybe this is part where you try and shut down Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. I know Baroon and Achut are screeching for it. It's like, hey, this is where we should trade for AJ Brown. It's like, no, fuck you guys. You deserve nothing. I'm joking, but I honestly think like there's a weakness in the because the Texans use a lot of man coverage. You have to attack with the deep shots with Drake May and Drake May, and because of the Patriots' offensive line is struggled with protection, because you're facing off against Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson and Sheldon Rankins, you need to go more pass game, throw the ball early. This is where Josh McDaniels has to show why he's better as an OC, not as a coach. He needs to use a lot more motion. Maybe you look at some plays of like how the Niners are able to do it without like none of their star players. Try to incorporate that. And to like just to shut off the run, just to shut off the blitzes and pressures. I think, and here's my biggest matchup is going to be Stephon Diggs versus Kamari Lassiter, or Derek Stingley Jr. if Stingley Jr. is playing. I think that's a fun matchup. I think, and the funny thing is, after the Texans let go of CJ Gardner-Johnson, they've been playing so much better. I just realized that. I'm like, holy shit, they've done better with that. So I'm okay with that. So with that being said, I'm going for the upset. Patriots are a 3-point favorite. If the Texans if CJ Stroud does not turn over the ball, beats Christian Kirk, and if Nico Collins is able to come back and get that run game of Woody Marks, Texans are winning this game. I have a gut feeling the Texans are going to win this game.
Ooh, okay.
They win 20-17.
Okay, so I think that the Patriots do win.
Okay.
Because Drake May has been number one in EPA per play for without facing pressure. Number two. And number two with facing pressure.
Oh, okay.
So he's been a phenomenal quarterback, both not facing pressure and facing pressure. So definitely I think that the Patriots have a chance. Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to win. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 2017, but it's going to be Patriots. The AFC matchups are going to be insanely close. I think there are weaknesses for all four teams that could be exploited.
I have a beat the dome moment. I think the AFC is going to win the Super Bowl this year. It's not going to be an NFC team.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you. I think the AFC teams are just overall better suited to win than any of the NFC teams. Alrighty. Well, we got a NFC West divisional showdown in the divisional round of the playoffs now. The 49ers facing off the Seahawks in Seattle.
Oh, you did say the word?
Yeah,
They're
the
not
Seahawks.
chickens.
They're not chickens, dude. They deserve it. They're the number 1 seed. They're 14-3. The defense is on fire consistently. Yeah, I mean, they're not the chickens anymore. They're Seahawks. And when you look at what the 49ers have to bring, that defense is definitely not on the same level as the Seahawks defense. And when you look at the last time that these two guys played head to head, it was
13-3. Seahawks won 13-3, and
yeah.
Brock Purdy got hurt that game, and he threw a bad pick at the end zone. I thought it was a fluke of a catch by that linebacker.
Yeah, so we might see another similar game because besides CMC, who else do you have really on that offense that's threatening? George Kittle is out.
Kyle Juszczyk, and then Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is CMC.
And Jawad Jennings as well, yeah.
Yeah, but it is the CMC show, Like this is literally the CMC show. So when you look at their previous games, obviously 13-3 loss, and then way back in the first game of the season is when the 49ers won, but it was 17-13. So, they are hoping, the 49ers are hoping that Fred Warner could play in the AFC title game. Darnold is also listed as for the Seahawks in terms of other injuries. Sam Darnold, their quarterback, is listed as questionable with a new oblique injury, so that might cause some situation, some discomfort, shall we say. We might see, I'm seeing ghost Sam Darnold in this game if the defense for the 49ers comes to play. So yeah, overall, I think it's going to be a very close game. I think the 49ers are going to utilize CMC in countless different ways. They're going to run the offense through him. Definitely try and look to utilize some more play action against this defense for the Seahawks. Not rely too much on static plays because this defense is smart. They're feisty. They will get after it. They will cause turnovers. So definitely, I think utilizing CMC in different areas is how the 49ers are going to look to exploit. In terms of the Seahawks now, that offense without Sam Darnold or with an injured Sam Darnold still has the ability to beat this 49ers defense. I don't really see a lot of positive news coming for the 49ers defense. Fred Warner could potentially come back. We don't know. You were talking about Malik Mustafa and
Deommodore
Lenoir. Like that secondary is fine. That entire defense is really held together by Robert Saleh, right? So I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to be another close game. It's going to be the third time that these guys are playing against each other this season, so it's going to be a very close game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of offensive explosion. I think it's going to be 17-13, but I think the Seahawks win because they just have a better defense.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yep. Alrighty, last but not least, I have the Rams versus the Bears. Fuck the Bears, man. Fuck.
Oh, and by the way, before we go on for that, Niners fans, you coming and Cowboys fans, you crawling out the callers to call on us. Yeah, I know we shot the game. I mean, oh no, that, but you know what? For you Niners, because of all this shit, you know what happens when you piss me off? Do you know what happens when you piss me off? You are now under the Ruksha curse. You are cursed.
Exactly. Oh my god. Alrighty. Excuse me.
Niners and Rams and Bears. Where offenses go and celebrate. There's not going to be a defense. I'm going to tell you that for sure. It's going to be today on what the fuck is a defense. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they go back and forth, back and forth. The punters are going to rest. That's what I think.
Really?
I think the punters are going to have a nice nap.
Wow. I think the complete opposite. I think the Seahawks defense is going to keep the game close.
No, the Rams against the Rams.
Rams, Bears. Yeah.
Seahawks are gonna win this game.
Against
the Niners. They're gonna win like 27. No, they're gonna win 20-10 at best.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, the Rams Bears, yeah, I agree. The punters are going to take a rest. I think it's going to be like that Rams Seahawks game that we had 2 weeks ago where it was like 42-41 or something like that. I definitely see the potential for Matthew Stafford to have a 5-touchdown passing game. Caleb Williams is probably going to have 1 or 2 interceptions because I think this pass rush is going to get to him. But at the end of the day, I think the Rams win by at least a touchdown. I just don't think the Bears are there yet. I don't trust Caleb Williams that much. Yes, he has defeated the Packers, but it's more so the Packers shooting themselves in the foot rather than the Bears having this phenomenal performance, which they have. They've had great plays, but I don't think it's been consistent across all 4 quarters for them to be very effective. So I think against a much better team, a much better coach team in the Rams, I think the Rams win. I think they win 34-27. And Matthew Stafford has a chance to go and get his 2nd Super Bowl ring. And that's it for me. That's it for us. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcasts on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Cast.
And we're also on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon for more notifications. And by the way, folks, if you like this video, if we get up to 100 likes, my co-host on this is going to feel a lot better from the flu. So make sure you do that. And then we're also on our following social media platforms: Twitter/X, Instagram, and Threads at all lowercase at NFL MASALA 2022.
Alrighty. And we're going to hit you guys with our signature outro. Go, Pack, go.
And fly, Eagles, fly. Thank you, and have a good night.